Holy Spirit, we welcome you into our lives and into our hearts. We need you. Almighty God, we need you right now. Reveal your glory and pour your spirit out. Almighty God, we need Come on, just begin to make your declaration to God tonight. If you provide the fire, then I'll provide the sacrifice. And if you'll pour out your spirit, then I will open up inside. Fill me up, God. That's our prayer tonight. Fill me up, God. Fill me up, God. Fill me up, God. Now you lift it up. Sing, if you provide the fire, you provide the fire. Sing, I'll provide the sacrifice.
strong hair is beautiful. That's why Pantene Gold Series has an argan oil infused Pro V.
Sound of revival. Oh God, we want it now. I don't know about you, but I'm sensing this. God, we need it. And hear the cry of your people, God. Oh God. Yes, Lord. And we've been waiting now. Lord, we will wait for you, 'cause all we want is you. Lord, we will wait for you, 'cause all we want is you. Oh, 'cause all we want is you. Yes, God. Lord, we will wait for you, 'cause all we want is you. Lord, we wait, 'cause all we want is you. Lord, we will wait, with our hearts wide open, 'cause all we want. Lord, we will wait, 'cause all we want is you. revival is coming. And so from our heart we say, we've been praying. We've been sowing. We've been praying. Yes, Lord. Say, send the rain. Come on, let's declare. Say, we've been praying. Say, we've been praying, we've been sowing, now we're crying, heaven send the rain. Can I get some people who have some seeds in the ground and just begin to declare that? Just help me out. I just want to hear you sing it. Say, we've been praying, we've been sowing, now we're crying. Come on, say it real big, say it. Come on, can you just say it one more time in this room? Let faith rise with you. Come on, say it. Say, we've been praying. We've been sowing. Now we're crying. Let me tell you something. Rain only matters to those who have seed in the ground. If you don't have seed in the ground, rain is a nuisance. But if you've been planting some things and you've been praying some things, when the rain comes, you can expect the harvest. Follow. This is for everybody who's been sowing a seed in a dry season. And you keep saying, I wonder where my harvest is. The harvest is connected to the rain. I'm telling you, there's a revival coming to this land. God is about to send the rain to this land. And every seed that you sow and every prayer that you pray is about to come forth in harvest. That's why we say, we've been praying. If you mean it, send the rain. Come on, one more time. Say, we've been praying. Yeah. Yes, Lord.
Good morning, ladies. So I'm going to quickly pray us in, and then I'm going to make a few announcements. Lord, may nothing separate us from you today. Teach us how to choose only your way today, so each step will lead us closer to you. Help us to walk by your word and not by our feelings. Help us to keep our hearts pure and undivided. Protect us from our own careless thoughts, words, and actions, and keep us from being distracted by our wants, desires, and thoughts on how things should be. Help us to embrace what comes our way as an opportunity rather than a personal inconvenience. Father, help us to rest in the truth of Psalms 86:13, which says, "For great is thy mercy towards us." You already see the ways that we will fall short and mess up. But right now, we consciously tuck your whisper of absolute love for us into the deepest parts of our hearts. We recognize your love for us is not based on our performance. You love us, mistakes and all. That's amazing, and we are just in awe of your mercy, Father God. Help us to forever remember what a gift it is to sit with you like this each morning and study your word. Amen. Sorry about that, you guys. But yeah, so today we are finally diving in to the last chapter of Ruth. Thank you guys who are watching this live, and to those of you who will catch the replay, thank you as well for just being a part of this study. I'm just trying to pull up the live on my computer quickly. And let me turn off my speaker and plug in my phone so it doesn't die. Okay, I think that's it. Sorry about the shaking. Okay, no problem, Cindy. No problem, and good morning to you too. The live, of course, will just stay available, and I will be uploading all the live sessions to YouTube in April. Just trying to open this on my computer. But yeah, first things first, I said I was going to be doing another giveaway, so I'm going to show you guys the items now. I'm not sure if Vicky got hers. Vicky, if you watch this, well, I'll message you, Vicky, because I don't know if you're going to watch it now or watch the replay. But I don't know what is going on and why my computer is being slow. Of course, there's always something. But I'll be giving away this Be Happy, Be You journal with the copper foil on it. It's a nice pinkish peach color, still in the packaging. This notepad that says Happy Thoughts. And you guys won't believe where I found these at, because I did give a pair to Vicky. I actually got these from Dollar Tree, which was a shocker for me, because Dollar Tree, they have some nice stuff, but not always like super pretty. But I saw these and I literally purchased every single one that they had. So I'm giving away these two. I am giving away both Cling the book and the DVD study by Kim Cash Tate. We were going to do this in April, but I'm actually going to be moving this read back to May, because April we already have the book. So this will be the book club pick for May. So I'm giving that away. I'm giving away this devotional. It's a 90-day devotional, all about love, centered all on love. And it just looks like this on the inside. Learning to Love, Storm Clouds, My Prince. It's a good one. I love Our Daily Bread. I rave about them all the time on my YouTube channel, of course. And then the last thing is this devotional, which I got from Our Daily Bread. I ordered about 10 of them. It is He is Risen, 10 reflections from Our Daily Bread. And it's just all about his resurrection. So, and that just looks like this. So it's a 10-day devotional. So I'm going to be giving this away. And I'll post up the giveaway right after we do the study. Oh, Joanna, I'm giving it away just because I just feel the pull to do so. I have a lot of like duplicates of books for some reason when I order books, or like if I order one copy from some company, the company will end up sending me a bunch of copies. Like Our Daily Bread actually sent me a lot of this stuff. I had like 30 copies of this devotional. I got a box of this book. I got a box of these DVDs. So at first, I was going to sell them, but I decided instead of selling them, I could be a blessing to someone and just give them away. But the giveaways always will coincide with whatever I'm doing, either in the group or on YouTube. Just because I know a lot of people can't purchase. Like I myself, I don't work. I haven't worked in about 5 years now, 5-6 years. But I've been blessed with getting a lot of books and stuff through review programs, and being a YouTuber or companies will just be a blessing to me. So I figured I could be a blessing to someone else. And just because I know people like books, like I'm a book nerd myself, so I just figured doing this would help someone else who's trying to either build their faith or dive deeper into their Bible studies, or just build their own personal library. And I know these things are not cheap at all. A lot of these things are expensive. So just looking from that perspective, me having not worked in so long, I know how it feels when you want something and you can't get it, or you want to be a part of something and don't know where to start. So that's basically why. But I wanted to do giveaways for the Bible study, because this was actually the first Bible study that I've been doing here live. Of course, I've done Bible studies on my YouTube channel, but they weren't live. And I don't know, I just wanted to be a blessing. That's pretty much why. So I did the first one and Vicky won that one. So this is the second one. I'm probably gonna do one once a month. I've only did 2 this month just because it was the first Bible study and book club, so I wanted to be a blessing. But yeah, that's pretty much it. I definitely do have more giveaways coming. I'm going to be doing a Mommy and Me giveaway. I'm going to be purchasing a journaling Bible. I don't know if it's going to be a regular journaling Bible, kind of like the ESV or my New King James, or if it's going to be more of like the Inspire Bible. I don't know which one yet. I'm going to think and pray on that. But I definitely want to do a Mommy and Me where I give away a journaling Bible as well as the CSB Kids Bible that I have to a mom that wants to dive into Bible studying and to help her kid out, because I don't know, I think there's something amazing about a mom and her child studying the word together. So that's basically what I'll be giving away, but the picture and all the information for the giveaway will go up after this. But yeah, I don't have a specific reason. I know a lot of people normally will have specific reasons to why they do giveaways, but it's just been on my heart to be a blessing. So that's pretty much it. As far as the next study will be in April. It will be on the book of Esther, as you all voted for Esther. It was almost a tie between Revelation and Esther, but a lot of you guys picked Esther. So we'll be studying Esther the second week. I'll have more information on that hopefully by Monday, because we'll be getting into that. Oh, that was a right, Anne. That's a right, Anne. And hi to your little sister. But okay. But yeah, so the second Bible study will be on Esther, and the book is The Battle Plan for Prayer. I think it's called For Prayer. So I'm not sure if a lot of you purchased the book already, but you can get it off of Amazon, and you can also find it on christianbook.com. I ordered mine's. It's okay, Joanna. But yeah, I ordered my book. It should be here within a week, hopefully. I ordered mine off of christianbook.com when they had their free shipping sale. So yeah, more information on everything will hopefully be up by Monday in the group. So yeah, but this is the last study for Ruth. And I mean, so far we have truly dived into this. Like, I don't know if you guys can see everything, because I'm trying to use my table, my actual desk, instead of my folding table, just because I feel like it might be a little bit more sturdy, but we'll see how that goes. Still a learning process. But I mean, we've really dived into everything. Good morning, Angela. We really have been going in, and you know, we are now on chapter 4, so I'm just going to move my post-it and stick it on my wall. I have, of course, my utensils, which are, of course, the Crayola Twistables, the Sharpie Smear Guard highlighters, and the Crayola Super Tip markers. My 0.7 pen, just because it writes small enough. I actually think I want to get some smaller pen, which are like a 0.38 or 0.4, just to try them out, so we'll see. I have my Post-its. I want to try out these Post-its today that I got from Walmart. These two came in a pack with a third one. It was like a tribal tint, but these are like a feather. You can use it any type of way, but this feather, and then these cute arrows with feathers on it. And then this strawberry donut, just because, you know, as you guys always know, I have no notes prepared. I'm going to try for Esther to have some type of notes prepared, but notes just wasn't in the cards for today. Hopefully this setup is a little better. Let me just turn on my diffuser and move it over. I don't need it to be in the actual camera. But can I zoom in? Of course not, because there is no way to zoom in. I wish there was a way to zoom into this. No, I don't want to do any of these cute little things. I'm sorry, guys. I'm trying to see if there's a way to zoom in. I don't think there is. No, and I don't want my volume up. I want it on silent. So, okay. We're just going to dive in. Hopefully you guys can see that this is close enough. But we are going to dive into the first paragraph, which is verse 1 to 6. I have, of course, Blue Letter Bible open as well as Bible Hub open for definition. So, you know the process. We're going to read through first the first paragraph, and then we're going to circle anything that we want to define, and then underline, and then break down, then highlight so that everything makes sense. So, reading verses 1 through 6, and again, this is in the ESV translation. I don't know where I'll put it up there. It is the ESV translation from Crossway, just so you guys know. So it's titled Boaz Redeems Ruth. What I titled this session for chapter 4 is Reward and Redemption, because Boaz does redeem Ruth, and she's also rewarded with the greatest reward of all, which is being a part of the lineage of Jesus. So, verse 1 for chapter 4. Now Boaz had gone up to the gate and sat down there, and behold, the Redeemer of whom Boaz had spoken came by. So Boaz said, "Turn aside, friend, sit down here." And he turned aside and sat down. And he took 10 men of the elders of the city and said, "Sit down here." So they sat down. Then he said to the Redeemer, "Naomi, who has come back from the country of Moab, is selling the parcel of land that belonged to our relative Elimelech. So I thought I would tell you of it and say, buy it in the presence of those sitting here, in the presence of the elders of my people. If you will redeem it, redeem it. But if you will not, tell me that I may know, for there is no one beside you to redeem it, and I come after you." And he said, "I will redeem it." Verse 5, Then Boaz said, "The day you buy the field from the hand of Naomi, you also acquire Ruth the Moabite, the widow of the dead, in order to perpetuate the name of the dead in his inheritance." Verse 6, Then the Redeemer said, "I cannot redeem it for myself, lest I impair my own inheritance. Take my right of redemption yourself, for I cannot redeem it." So, verse 1 through 6, we meet this Redeemer, who they don't name the Redeemer just because he is irrelevant, honestly. What's not on Facebook Live, Anne? Oh, are you referring to your sister? But we meet this Redeemer, the kinsman Redeemer is basically a close relative that would take on the responsibility of marrying the dead brother's wife and redeeming the property. If there was any slaves, he would purchase the slaves back, and things of that matter, which you guys can dive into Deuteronomy 25, 5 and 10, Numbers 5 and 8, and what was the other one? Yeah, it's Leviticus 25, verse 25 to 30, Numbers 5 and 8, and Deuteronomy 25, 5 through 10, which tells you all about the kinsman redeemer. But, yeah, you have Boaz. This is immediately after he told Ruth to go home, and that Naomi told Ruth that Boaz would really settle the matter today. So he now goes to the gate, to the elders, because that's what you need to do, is be around the elders with the closest redeemer. And he tells this close redeemer that he would redeem Ruth and the family. Oh yeah, I know. I don't like that you can't do it. I think you have to zoom in prior to doing the live, because I was able to zoom in prior to the live, which is why it's a little closer than what it normally is. But I just wish that during the live video you could actually zoom in and not prior, but Facebook will eventually work that out, I guess. And while I'm talking, let me pull out my other journaling Bible, because I always forget to take it out because I do have extra notes in there. Just taking out my other journaling Bible so I could look through the notes, because I did have some notes. In chapter 4. Okay. So, okay, let me just move the comments. Okay. So yeah, we meet this Redeemer. This Redeemer has no name. They never mention the Redeemer's name, which is fine because this Redeemer is really self-centered and he only thinks about himself, as you can see in verse 6 where he says, I cannot redeem it from myself, lest I impair my own inheritance. This Redeemer is only concerned about his own wealth, his own life. And I think it's imperative to understand that when Boaz was talking to this closer Redeemer, he made sure to mention that Naomi was in the country of Moab and that Ruth was a Moabite. And of course, my fiance would be calling me and I can't answer. So, yeah. But, okay. So, what I'm going to do is I'm going to circle gate. I'm just going to start going in. So, I'm going to circle gate. And in other translations, I think they call it the city gate. But, the gate is basically the city gate, or kind of like how we have town halls and stuff like that. So I'm just going to write town hall because that's basically what it is. So gate would be the town hall, because I think some people would mistake gate for being like an actual gate that they go to, but it's more like the town hall. Is there anything else that I wanted to circle? I don't think there was. No. Okay. So now going verse by verse. Sorry, guys. Give me one quick second. I got all of these Bibles all over the place and nowhere to put them. Okay. Ow. So, now Boaz had gone up to the gate and sat down there, and behold, the Redeemer of whom Boaz had spoken came by. So Boaz said, Turn aside, friend. Sit down here. And he turned aside and sat down. I'm going to underline, now Boaz had gone up to the gate. Gonna underline that because in the last chapter, chapter 3, we left off basically in this like semi-dramatic state where Boaz had told Ruth that there was a closer Redeemer and that he would basically speak to that Redeemer, and if that Redeemer was willing to redeem her, then so be it, but if not, then Boaz himself would redeem her. And you know, Ruth goes home not empty-handed, of course. She has, 6 measures of barley. And she may have been a little frantic and concerned, so we have Naomi telling her, for the man will not rest, but will settle the matter today. So this is letting us know that, you know, Boaz didn't take a minute to think about it. He didn't take a day or a week. Like, he immediately left right after Ruth left him. So, let me see. Okay. Try to get this in a way that I can write but still have it on screen. And if you guys have any questions as I'm doing this, you can just ask as always. But so like I said, I underlined now Boaz had gone up to the gate. He immediately saw to Ruth's request so I wrote that he immediately saw to Ruth's request for redemption. He did not hesitate or waver. He did not waver. I'll just put that. He did not waver. And if you guys hear anything that sounds like water drops, I do have my diffuser on right here. I have my diffuser on, so let me move the wire over. Sorry about the shaking, but he did not waver in his decision. going to verse 2. And he took 10 men of the elders of the city and said, sit down here. So they sat down. Oh, wait. I don't have anything here that I want to underline, but I do want you guys to know that the number 10 is a number of completion. So I will, of course, have that in the study notes when I post it. Verse 3, then he said to the Redeemer, Naomi, who has come back from the country of Moab. I'm going to underline, come back from the country of Moab, is selling the parcel of land that belonged to our relative Elimelech. I'm going to underline that part too. Is selling the land of that belonged to our relative Elimelech. Verse 4, so I thought I would tell you of it and say, buy it in the presence of those sitting here. So I'm going to underline, buy it in the presence of those sitting here. And in the presence of the elders. So what I'm going to write over here is that part of kinsman redeemers duty to redeem land of dead relative. Let me just fix this so you guys can see. So again, I underlined verse 3 and part of verse 4, which says, Come back from the country of Moab, is selling the parcel of land that belonged to our relative Elimelech. Buy it in the presence of those sitting here and in the presence of the elders. And the reason why he, of course, is doing this in the presence of the elders is because you're supposed to. It's part of the law for the kinsman redeemer. So moving on, he says, if you will redeem it, redeem it. But if you will not, tell me, that I may know, for there is no one besides you to redeem it. I come after you. And he said, I will redeem it. So I'm going to underline, if you will redeem it, redeem it. But if you will not, tell me, I will redeem it. Now, keep in mind that he's only talking about the land. He hasn't mentioned anything about Ruth as of yet. So, I'm going to write only referring to land at this point. And when it says he said, this is the Redeemer speaking, the other Redeemer and not Boaz. So only referring to the land at this point. The Redeemer accepted. Okay, so again, verse 4, if you will redeem it, redeem it, but if you will not, tell me. And he said, which would be the other Redeemer, I will redeem it. So this is only referring to the land at this point. The Redeemer, of course, accepted it without hesitation. So let me go in with some colors right now because my eyes are starting to hurt. I'm gonna take this magenta. This yellow. Okay. So moving on to verse 5. Then Boaz said, the day you buy the field from the hands of Naomi, you also acquire Ruth the Moabite, the widow of the dead, in order to perpetuate the name of the dead and his inheritance. And of course, this is again a part of the kinsman redeemer's role. Once you inherit or buy that land from your dead relative, you also take on their wife so that you can help them to keep their family name in order. So you would marry the wife, and then the first child that you have, that first son, would be named after your dead relative. And then any children thereafter would be named after you. So that's that. I'm going to underline, the day you buy the field from the hands of Naomi, you also acquire Ruth the Moabite. Verse 6, then the Redeemer said, I cannot redeem it for myself, lest I impair my own inheritance. Take my right of redemption for yourself, for I cannot redeem it. So I'm just going to underline that whole verse. So starting off with verse 5. This is a part where Boaz gives the Redeemer kind of like a surprise, if you want to call it a sneak attack, because he waited to mention this part. But I'm trying to find a way to explain this. Alright, so I'm going to put Land and Ruth were a package deal. Land and Ruth were a packaged deal that Redeemer needed to redeem together. So the day you buy the field from the hand of Naomi, you also acquire Ruth the Moabite. So this is basically saying that, okay, now since you said that you will buy the land from Naomi, now you also have to marry Ruth, who is of course a Moabite from a pagan land. And you can't not just buy the land without her. It's a package deal. It's a part of your role as you saying you will redeem it as a kinsman redeemer. Verse 6, then the Redeemer said, I cannot redeem it for myself, lest I impair my own inheritance. Take my right of redemption for yourself, for I cannot redeem it. I'm sorry if I'm pausing in between you guys. You guys know I don't have notes, so I am just flowing with how my brain runs. So I'm going to use this post-it note here. I'm going to write V6 and box it. Let's go in with some colors right now. We're going to use the blue for verse 6. And of course, the same for this one. Lavender for verse 5. Oh, sorry. Okay, so verse 6. This Redeemer, who has no name, is only concerned about his own inheritance. He knew that he would ruin his life, basically, if he took on Ruth as his new wife and raising up her children. Just because, you know, a lot of people do respect Ruth because she's a hard worker, but she is still a Moabite. She is not an Israelite. She is not one of God's chosen, at least in their eyes. So they would look at her like that. And I totally forgot to do this one. So I'm going to take this orange and circle gate. Okay. So, Redeemer had no problem buying land, but was worried about his own inheritance. So did not redeem Ruth. So I wrote, Redeemer had no problem buying land, but was worried about his own inheritance, so did not redeem Ruth. Now, this is in a sense, like God is giving this man a blessing, and this guy just doesn't want that blessing. So now he's passing on that blessing to someone else to receive. And you can see that here he says, I cannot redeem it for myself, lest I impair my own inheritance. And I don't know if any of you have been through like a situation where God was trying to give you something, but you felt content where you were, or content with what he already gave you, and you weren't prepared, or you didn't want anything else or greater on your plate. So instead of you taking it on for yourself, you passed it along, and that's basically what he did here. He said, take my right of the redemption for yourself, for I cannot redeem it. So I'm also going to write, he passed his blessings. Because, I mean, this guy could have been a part of the lineage of Jesus. Like, he could have been a part of that, but he passed it on to Boaz. So he passed his blessing on to Boaz. And that's very similar to how we are in today's world. So moving on to verses 7 to 12. I'll do 7 to 9 first. Now this was a custom in former times in Israel concerning redeeming and exchanging. To confirm a transaction, the one drew off his sandal and gave it to the other, and this was the manner of attesting in Israel. And of course, like I said, read Deuteronomy 25, 5 through 10. So I am going to bracket this portion because it's really nothing that I want to say, but I do want to bracket it off and just write a note. See Deuteronomy 25, 5 through 10, because it tells you specifically everything that you need to know about that portion of the transaction. And I'm just gonna go in with this red-orange color. Okay, verse 8. So when the Redeemer said to Boaz, "Buy it for yourself," he drew off his sandal. Verse 9. Then Boaz said to the elders all the people, "You are witnesses this day that I have bought from the hand of Naomi all that belonged to Elimelech and all that belonged to Chilion and Mahlon." You guys know I butcher these names a lot. So he's basically purchasing everything, not just from Elimelech as the kinsman redeemer, but also from his nephews, I guess. Would they be his nephews or would they be his cousins? I'm going to say nephews, but I think these would be his cousins. But his cousins, nephews, whatever. He's purchasing from them as well. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to underline, "You are witnesses this day that I have bought from the hand of Naomi all that belonged to Elimelech and all that belonged to Chilion and Mahlon." This is verse 9, yes. So, verse 9. I'll show you guys my notes once I'm done, of course, but he joyfully proclaimed the transaction to redeem all belonging to Elimelech and his sons, Okay, so what I wrote for that, like I said, I underlined, "You are witnesses this day that I have bought from the hand of Naomi, all that belonged to Elimelech and all that belonged to Chilion and Mahlon," which are, of course, Elimelech and Naomi's sons. So he's joyfully proclaiming the transaction to redeem all belonging to Elimelech and his sons. He doesn't sound, sorry about that, I don't know what just happened to my phone. But he doesn't sound distraught. He doesn't sound upset. He sounds extremely happy about this. And then verse 10, "Also Ruth the Moabite, the widow of Mahlon, I have brought to be my wife to perpetuate the name." If I could move my Bible. "Of the dead in this inheritance, that the name of the dead may not be cut off from among his brothers and from the gate of his native place." Oh, you are witnesses this day. So for verse 10, I'm going to underline, "Also Ruth the Moabite, the widow of Mahlon, I have brought to be my wife." So let's get some colors in here first. Take this pink. This lime green. Okay. So for verse 10, what I'm going to write is that back in chapter 1, Ruth looked to have okay, so what I'm going to write, I'm going to read what I'm going to write to you. Say what I'm going to write to you first before I write it. So basically in chapter 1, Ruth seemed to have given up her best chances of being married just by leaving her homeland Moab, because that was the reason for Naomi telling her and Orpah to stay so that they could remarry, because she had no more kids. So with Ruth leaving, it seemed as if she would never remarry, right? But because she gave her life to God, she now is being blessed with the opportunity to marry a man of God. So I hope that made sense. I'm going to write it down and then repeat it so you guys can see and hear again. So in chapter 1, Ruth looked to have given up her best chance of remarriage but by leaving Moab and putting God first, she married a man of God. So in chapter 1, Ruth looked to have given up her best chance of remarriage, but by leaving Moab and putting God first, she married a man of God, is what I'm saying. So that's all for verse 10. I can actually put this post-it back here. I guess I only needed one post-it for today, because I have all of the space on the other side. Alrighty, let's try to do this without looking crazy. I don't know, but we'll figure it out. So verse 11, then all the people who were at the gate and the elders said, we are witnesses. May the Lord make the woman who is coming into your house like Rachel and Leah, who together built up the house of Israel. May you act worthily in Ephrathah. I don't even know how to pronounce that, but if you guys do, it's this word here. I don't even think, did I define that in my other Bible? What verse is 11? No, I didn't define it, but and be renowned in Bethlehem. Verse 12, and may your house be like the house of Perez, whom Tamar bore to Judah, because of the offspring that the Lord will give you by this young woman. So I'm going to underline you are witnesses from this day from verse 10, and then for verse 11 I'm going to bracket this whole thing, because this is the blessing that they're getting. So bracketing the whole verse of 11 and 12. And if I can find it. I'm just checking in my other Bibles real quick, because I don't know if they cross-referenced any of this stuff. And this is at verse 11. Okay. So, you are witnesses this day for verse 10, and I'm sorry if you guys can see. I underlined you are witnesses this day. What I'm going to write is that, Boaz's love for Ruth was very public and not kept a secret, so that's what I'm going to write. Let me drink some coffee and whoa. For what I bracketed, where did I put it? So when I bracketed verses 11 and 12, I'm writing that this was the blessing and prayer for their marriage. So this is basically the people and the elders themselves confirming that they are witnessing this, and that now they're praying that they would be blessed and have, children, and that Ruth will be well known. So okay, we are witnesses. May the Lord make the woman who is coming to your house like Rachel and Leah. And there is a reference to that. I'm trying to find it though. It says Jeremiah 31:15. So let me flip to Jeremiah just to make sure. Oh, look at that. Flipped right to it. 31 and verse 15. For 31:15, it just says, not sure if you guys can see it, but thus says the Lord, a voice is heard in Ramah, lamentation and bitter weeping. Rachel is weeping for her children. She refuses to be comforted for her children because they are no more. Not really sure why that makes reference to her. But that's something definitely that I want to myself personally look up. So I definitely would say to underline like Rachel and Leah, and then make a note to research it yourself. So that's pretty much all I can say, because none of my Bibles actually give me any information. My King James Study Bible just says Ruth was like Rachel in being blessed with children after a long period of barrenness. That's basically what my King James Study Bible says. The reference in was to Jeremiah 31:15 about Rachel specifically. But it wasn't anything, how can I say, it wasn't anything worthwhile, in my opinion, because of what it said. But in my study Bible, it says that Ruth was like Rachel in being blessed with children after a long period of barrenness. So I'm just underlining this myself, just so that after I'm done with this live session, I can actually look it up and give you guys notes. Let me see if there's anything here on okay, so on Blue Letter Bible, at a commentary I'm looking at, it says that these two, which are Rachel and Leah, had 13 children between them. They were the mothers of the whole nation of Israel. So it was basically a big blessing to Boaz and Ruth. So I'm actually going to specifically just write that. I'm still going to look it up myself, of course, and add my notes later. But for right now, these two had 13 children between them. And were the mothers of the whole nation of Israel. Huge blessing to put on Boaz and Ruth. So let me just box this quickly. Okay, so basically these two had 13 children between them, and the two that I'm talking about are Rachel and Leah, and were the mothers of the whole nation of Israel. This was a huge blessing to put on Boaz and Ruth. And I mean, considering who they gave birth to in the whole lineage of Jesus, I think that made a lot of sense now that I'm thinking about it. So again, definitely do your own research about Rachel and Leah. I'm definitely going to do that once we're done with this session, and then, like I said, I'll have the notes in the live I'll have them in the notes when I write the live note session. But yeah, so like Rachel and Leah, who together built up the house of Israel, which I'm going to underline that as well. May you act worthily in Ephrathah and be renowned in Bethlehem. In verse 12, may your house be like the house of Perez, whom Tamar bore to Judah. Got you. Okay. Who Tamar bore to Judah because of the offspring that the Lord will give you by this young woman. So, I'm going to underline like the house of Perez, whom Tamar bore to Judah. And this actually makes a reference to Genesis 38, 27, and 30. See Genesis 38, 27 to 30. And then I'm going to also write compares foreign women, and when I mean foreign, they weren't women of Israel, women in David's genealogy, which would in a sense also be the basically David's genealogy. I was gonna say something else, but we're just not. Let me see if my other Bibles say anything different, but that's verse 12, right? Yep. It also makes reference to 1 Samuel 2:20. So first we're gonna go to Genesis 38:27, and we're gonna read that. Just give me one quick second, you guys. Skipping pages, we don't want that. I'm not exactly sure what Tamar was. Definitely, again, do your research. Like I said, I didn't have any notes prepared. But for Genesis 38, verse 27 to 30, it reads, when the time of her labor came, there were twins in her womb, and when she was in labor, one put out a hand, and the midwife took and tied a scarlet thread on his hand, saying, this one came out first. But as he drew back his hand, behold, his brother came out, and she said, what a breach you have made for yourself. Therefore his name was called Perez. Afterward, his brother came out with the scarlet thread on his hand. His name was called Zerah. So definitely, I think it would be important to look up what Perez's name means. So you can look that up in a Bible dictionary. But I know for a fact that Tamar was a immoral woman, if I'm not mistaken. yeah, it says here in verse 24 for Genesis 38, about 3 months after Judah was told, Tamar, your daughter-in-law, has been immoral, and immoral at that time was committing prostitution. Moreover, she is pregnant by the prostitution. So this was not a woman that would be considered holy in a sense. So hope that made sense. But that is it. So like I said, like the house of Perez, whom Tamar bore to Judah, I wrote, see Genesis 38:27-30, and then I also wrote, compares foreign women in David's genealogy. So let's just make the lines and arrows. My cross-reference also made, my Thompson chain reference, also made a reference to 1 Samuel, 2nd chapter, verse 20. So is it 1 Samuel or 2nd Samuel? Yes, 1 Samuel 2:20. So let's read that real quick and see. Nope, okay, that has nothing to do with that. So going back to verse 11, hopefully you guys can see this session. I'm just going to stick to probably recording on my folding table instead of my desk. But like I said, I bracketed verses 11 and 12. This is the blessing and prayer for the marriage and the marriage concerning Boaz and Ruth. For verse 11, I underlined, like Rachel and Leah, who together built up the house of Israel. I wrote, these two had 13 children between them and were the mothers of the whole nation of Israel. This was a huge blessing to put on Boaz and Ruth. And then for verse 12, I underlined, like the house of Perez, whom Tamar bore to Judah, which makes reference to Genesis 38, verses 27-30. And then I also wrote here that it compares foreign women in David's genealogy. Basically what I wrote. So let's go in with some colors. I'm going to take this blue. I'm going to take this purple that actually comes off a little lavender for this portion. Taking the orange, I'm going to use it for what I bracketed. I feel like bracketed is not a word. I don't know. It just sounds weird to say. For verse 12, I'm going to go in with the green. Oh yeah, I just got a text. My concordance as well as my Bible dictionary is coming today. I'm so excited. Cannot wait for that. And of course I'll show pictures of that later on once they arrive. But going on now to verses 13-17, which is all about the marriage of Boaz and Ruth. I'm going to try to fix this. Yeah, next time I'm just going to stick to recording on my folding table. But it says, so Boaz took Ruth, and she became his wife. And he went into her, and the Lord gave her conception, and she bore a son. Then the woman said to Naomi, blessed be the Lord, who has left you this day without a redeemer, and may his name be renowned in Israel. 15. He shall be to you a restorer of life and a nourisher of your old age. For your daughter-in-law who loves you, who is more to you than 7 sons, has given birth to him. Then Naomi took the child and laid him on her lap and became his nurse. And the women of the neighborhood gave him a name, saying, a son has been born to Naomi. They named him Obed. He was the father of Jesse and the father of David. So I'm trying to just fix this so I can write. Ugh. Okay. So for verse 13, we know that they're married now. I'm going to underline, he went into her and the Lord gave her conception. Verse 14. I'm going to bracket verses 15 and 16 because this is another blessing or prayer in a sense. Then Naomi took the child and laid him on her lap and became his nurse. 17. The women of the neighborhood gave him a name, saying, a son has been born to Naomi. They named him Obed. He was the father of Jesse and the father of David. I'm going to circle Obed as well as Jesse and David. I'm also going to go back and circle Perez because I'm going to personally look these up. So he went into her and the Lord gave her conception. This was a time when the people of Israel didn't take having children for granted. They felt that children were a blessing from God. So this was a gift from God. Whoopsie. I'm just looking at my other Bibles quickly. Okay, yeah, so for verse 13, I said he went into her and the Lord gave her conception, a gift from God to have their firstborn be a son. Then the woman said to Naomi, blessed be the Lord who has not left you this day without a redeemer, and may his name be renowned in Israel. He shall be to you a restorer of life and the nourisher of your old age. For your daughter-in-law who loves you, who was more to you than 7 sons, has given birth to him. So I'm going to underline, blessed be the Lord who has not left you this day without a redeemer. He shall, I think that's, I'm trying to see if that's a reference to her grandson or if it's a reference to Boaz. Thanks, Anne. I'm definitely gonna look into that once my Bible dictionary and my concordance gets here. So, yeah. But yeah, thank you for that. I'm gonna look those up. Blessed be the Lord who has not left you this day without a redeemer. This is interesting because back in Ruth 1, verse 20 to 21, if I can go to it, we found that Naomi was really bitter because she said, the Almighty has dealt bitterly with me. The Lord has testified against me, and the Almighty has brought calamity upon me. So this is a nice ending for her. What was I writing? My brain is so, like, all over the place. Beautiful end for Naomi. I feel like I just spelled her name wrong. I sure did, but whatever. We're going to flow with it. No, actually, I'm going to cross that out. Okay, so for verse 14, blessed be the Lord who has not left you this day without a redeemer. I wrote that this is a beautiful end for Naomi, having lost her family and been bitter. Her return home back to Bethlehem blessed her. So, I mean, because she definitely could have stayed home and definitely could have stayed in Moab and just sulked. But she didn't. She made an effort, a conscious decision to go back to Bethlehem when she heard that the famine was over. So that was a true blessing to her, despite her being bitter. Your daughter-in-law who loves you, who is more to you than 7 sons. I do have something to say about that. So back in this time in Israel, having sons was a very important thing. It was highly looked at for you to have multiple sons. Hold on, I'm sorry, you guys. Okay, sorry, but like I was saying, oh really? That is actually interesting. I did not know that. So thanks, Anne. I didn't know that she was. So I'm definitely gonna have to do my research after this. But yeah, so having sons in that culture back in Israel was highly esteemed. It was a supreme compliment. So basically calling Ruth and her love for Naomi better than that of 7 sons is one unheard of, because I mean, having 7 sons is amazing, but to have this one woman who is a Moabite from a pagan land and had nothing to do with God, but having chosen and made that leap of faith into trusting God, be a lot more worthy than 7 sons is very incredible. And of course 7 is one of the numbers of completion. So I'm gonna figure out how to write this. Ruth Okay, so basically what I wrote is that Ruth is compared to being better than sons. And this time having sons was esteemed and important. And also for the simple fact that Naomi had 2 sons. They both died right after her husband. So now she has a daughter-in-law who is not of her people and is a Moabite. She comes home, she returns home with nothing but Ruth. And all of a sudden, at the end of this tragic story, you have a daughter-in-law who stayed with you. She loved you. She worked hard for you. She supported Naomi. And she followed everything Naomi said, all while still following after God when she didn't have to. So that makes her 10 times worthier than having the sons that she had, or for Naomi to have any other sons. And on top of that, now Naomi has her own son, who would be also her grandson, if that makes sense. That was birthed from Ruth. So I think that's awesome. 16. Then Naomi took the child and laid him to her lap and became his nurse. So, underlining 16. Naomi she's old, but she's well off enough to nurse her own grandson who has taken on the last name of her husband. So it's now her grandson / son, which I guess would be a great blessing for her. So I'm writing, she's old, but gets to nurse her grandson who takes on the name of her husband. And my notes look a little sloppy, but hey. So I wrote, she's old but gets to nurse her grandson who takes on the name of her husband. And I guess that goes into a son has been born to Naomi. They named him Obed. He was the father of Jesse and the father of David. For that, I'm going to write a descendant of Jesus. Yeah, a descendant of Jesus. That's exactly what I wanted to write. A descendant of Jesus. Let me go in now. Taking the yellow to highlight what I just did. I'm taking this pale pink marker for verse 16 and 17. Oh, sorry. Knocked the camera. For the purple, I'm just going to bracket this. I didn't write what I wanted to write for this, did I? No. But I will. Taking this teal. Putting all my utensils away. For what I bracketed for verses 14 and 15, I'm going to write a blessing from the women. to Naomi about her grandson. I believe it was her grandson. If not, then it's Boaz. But I'm going to assume that this is about her grandson. Yeah, this is like sloppy, but that's okay. That is perfectly alright. As long as the notes make sense. Reading the last verses, verse 18. Now these are the generations of Perez. Let me zoom. Let me pick it up. Okay. Now these are the generations of Perez. Perez fathered Hezron, and Hezron fathered Ram. Ram fathered Aminadab. Aminadab fathered Nashon. Nashon fathered Salmon. Salmon fathered Boaz. Boaz fathered Obed. Obed fathered Jesse, and Jesse fathered David. I don't really have anything to say about that except that it's the genealogy or descendants of Jesus. Pretty much. Let me just double check. Yeah, so you guys can make note that the last few verses are basically the descendants of Jesus, but I don't personally need to write that. But this just tells you all the men that are descendants of Jesus. So like I said, going back, I had circled Perez, Obed, Jesse, and David because I wanted to look those up. So I'm going to grab my, oh, here it is. Handy dandy Nelson's Biblical Cyclopedic Index, and we're going to look up the names. So starting with Perez. I'm just looking in that, and then I'm also going to jump to Bible Hub. What verse is Perez? This is verse 12. So Perez is not in my cyclopedic index, so I'm just going to look it up here on Bible Hub. Oh, Bible Hub. And I'm going to do a video. I keep saying I'm going to do it, but I didn't forget. Yeah, they are definitely the ancestors of Jesus. I didn't forget I'm going to do a video on how I use Bible Hub for you guys. I never forgot that. I'm going to look up Obed if they have it in here. What verse is that? 17. So what I'm going to do is, because I have all the space here, I'm going to circle everything, all the names with this peach color. So, circle Perez, Jesse, David, and Obed. I'm going to write Perez. There's actually no definition for his name that I can find right now, which I think is quite interesting. So I'm going to do some quick research real quick, you guys. Give me a quick second to look up Perez. But I will write son of Judah and Tamar. Okay, so Perez means to breach or to burst forth, which makes sense because that's exactly what he did in the womb when him and his twin brother were being birthed. So, to breach or to burst forth. Moving on to Obed. Now, in the Nelson's Biblical Cyclopedic Index, it says that Obed is servant. It says servant, so I'm going to look it up on Bible Hub too. So Obed, according to Bible Hub, also means worshiper. So Obed basically means servant. And worshiper. Jesse next. I'm sorry it's taking me so long, guys. I'm looking this up. Thanks, Anne. Jesse. Okay, so Jesse says here Yahweh exists. But I'm still going to double check. That's awesome, Joanna. I hope she has a good day at school, your daughter. And I'm so happy you actually started dissecting and coloring in your Bible. I think it's awesome when you take notes like this. I don't know what it is. It's very relaxing, and it also helps you retain the information better. But no problem. You can always just, watch the live replay. Yes, please post your pictures. Oh my god, I want to see pictures all day, every day. But, okay. Look up the definition. Welcome. I keep forgetting you guys are in a complete different time zone, and Oh gosh, I always forget that y'all are in a different time zone. Yes, right, Kristen. Pictures, I think pictures like really help motivate everyone else to write. I mean, not write, but like share as well, which is what I'm trying to get you guys to do in the group, is like share your pictures, because I feel like pictures really motivate everyone. Let me eat a chip because I'm so hungry. Oh, sorry about that. See, this is why I can't wait for my Bible dictionary to come. Oh my god, only 8:30? You guys are so lucky. It is 11:34 right now, and I wish it was still 8:30 in the morning. But I'm just gonna go along with what this says, Yahweh exists, just because so many other things are popping up, and I don't know if they're right, and I don't want to give you guys wrong information. So I'm definitely just gonna write Jesse means Yahweh exists. And Yahweh, of course, is God. So Yahweh exists. And then lastly is David. And over here it says David says well beloved. And on Bible Hub it says beloved one. So let me just see if there's another definition. So David is beloved one. And well beloved, which makes sense because King David definitely was a loved person among the people, so that definitely makes sense. I think it's interesting how the Hebrew names actually, their names go so well with their characteristics and how they are presented in the Bible, which I think is amazing. Because I mean, Perez means to breach or to burst forth, and if you read Genesis 38 27 and 30, when Tamar was giving birth to him and his brother, the first child that had put their hand out, they put the ribbon on to say that he was the firstborn, but his older brother actually came out first. So Perez was technically he was a second born son, but he breached to stick his hand out first. So that was amazing. I don't know much about Obed and Jesse. Honestly, I need to research them more. I hear about them a lot, but I don't personally know a lot about them. But I know for David, for his name being beloved one and well beloved, that is so true. I mean, he wrote most of the Psalms, and he was well loved in 1 Samuel, 2 Samuel. And I think the Chronicles as well. I mean, the Kings, not the Chronicles. If I'm not mistaken. So yeah, and yes, Leona, yes, I'm actually gonna start getting back into doing more of the coloring in my Bibles, for like my Inspire Bibles, because I do have the original Inspire, and I also have the Inspire Psalms and Proverbs. No, and I think for the DOI art studio, I think I just want to keep it for people to post their colorings in there. And then for the Bible progress, they can just post it up in the group, because I think people would get confused. And I don't want people to get confused, nor do I want people to be deterred from the whole process of like this kind of coloring, in a sense, compared to art coloring, because I know a lot of people do get intimidated by it, and I definitely didn't box this. So let me box this first before I continue. Okay, but I hope that makes sense for you guys, because I know a lot of people get confused when it comes to the journaling between the art journaling and then this type of journaling, because they're consisting of like the same utensils. So I think I just want to keep the art studio as is. I'm definitely going to start, like I said, coloring a lot more in my Bibles, and I definitely will be purchasing the Inspire Praise this weekend. I don't know if I'm going to go to Barnes and Nobles, because Amazon doesn't have it in stock, but you can like purchase it for like $36. It's $36 some change, so $37. You can purchase it for $37, but they don't have it in stock. So I don't personally want to pay for it and then forget that I paid for it, and then I have to wait for it to be in stock. And then I could order it from christianbook.com, but I hate their shipping fees. Like, I hate it with a passion. Their shipping fees are ridiculous. So I'm gonna try to wait around. If I don't get it this weekend, I'm gonna try to wait around until christianbook.com has like another free shipping day. And if I can make it to Barnes & Noble's this weekend, because I have a busy weekend, I do have I will be working this weekend, so I'll be making some money. And I definitely want to get my hands on the Inspire Praise, because I know Leona said that she wanted to do some like color along with me kind of videos or sessions, which I'm definitely all for. I would definitely do them, which is honestly why I'm purchasing the Inspire Praise, because it's so pretty. And I don't want the hardcover, because I do have the regular Inspire Bible in the large print in hardcover. I really want the pretty soft leather imitation kind of cover, so I'm on a hunt for that. So we'll see. I don't know. But yeah, we have honestly finished all of this, which is insane. Not insane in a bad way, but it's like incredible to see that we've gone through all of this. I mean, the notes are piled on top of each other. If I can get this closed. Oh, see, I almost forgot my other sticky note here. We have honestly gone through, and I am excited. Okay, awesome, Leona. So that gives me time to get it. Because there are some markers there's a lot I want to get for the color along. I think that'll be cool to do. But yeah, I'm excited that we've actually finished. The next one that we will study is going to be, if I can find it. One of my sisters from church, she has a creative Bible, and I think it's so cool. I want to get one. I really do. But I feel like it'll be like not a waste, because it's not going to be wasted. I use all of my Bibles, of course. But I don't know. I feel like the Inspires are cool. But I'm definitely thinking about getting one of those My Creative Bible journals, because they're really pretty. I think she had a pink one. And it was really nice. But the next one will be on Esther. That is the next session. Oh, sorry, I'm just reading the comments. But the next session or Bible study will be on Esther. And I'm going to have information for Esther coming, because I'm going to be doing it a little bit different. Because I want you guys to really get into the habit of doing this for yourself and not just copying my notes straight up. So what I'm going to do is probably have it like a few days before I do. The discussions, of course, the live sessions will be still on Wednesdays. But I think on Saturdays or Friday nights, I would have you guys post up pictures, or we'll probably do a discussion of like verse by verse what you get out of it. That way, by the time we get ready to do the actual live session on the Wednesday, you guys would already have your own personal notes that you could share in the during the session, and also have some takeaway notes from what I share, because I really want you guys to make this more personal. And I'm only saying that because I know, like I said, when I first started following other YouTubers with their studies, I was just taking their notes and just running with it, and that was that. But there's something about going in for yourself and really taking the time to define words and do the research and look up things and make cross references by yourself, because there are some cross references that I may have written down or may not have written down that you could probably find. I mean, I know doing your cross-reference research is complicated. It takes a lot of time and energy to do so, which I don't mind doing that, just because, again, I don't work. I literally sit home all day until my son gets out of school. So I have the time and energy for this. But I know for others it's really, really hard to do, because it takes a lot of time and it is consuming. But I'm definitely going to do more videos here and there to help you guys study. And also, if you guys are having, I don't want to say a hard time, but if you guys are like struggling or having a hard time doing this type of studying, just let me know. I can always do a one-on-one session where we can chat via Facebook video chat, or we can chat via Zoom, or we can, I don't know, I can make a video and then send it personally to you. I don't know, we can work something out where we can do a one-on-one session to help you really get a grasp on using different references and resources, and really diving into the word for yourself, because it's not easy. I don't care what anyone tells you. I know people say study the Bible, but you know, studying the Bible is really, really time consuming, and it takes a lot of effort, and it takes a lot of commitment, because you can't just study the word in 10 minutes. It's just not possible. Even with these live sessions, I was assuming that it would take us an hour just to study it, break it down, but it has run into 2 hours. And then last week it took 3 hours. Like, it takes a lot, and it's not to scare anyone, of course, from studying the word. I definitely highly, highly encourage you. Study your Bible daily. You can spend one whole day on like 5 verses if you want to. You can spend a whole day on a chapter or a paragraph, like if you wanted to. And if you were studying like 1 Samuel, you can take these verses here, 22 to 26, and take a day just to break this down. If you wanted to, you can go through a whole chapter. Like this is chapter 3 is only 21 verses. You could take the whole chapter and study that in a day, or break it down. Like, there's no correct way to study the Bible, because there are different ways to study the Bible, but there are correct ways in which you use your resources. And how can I say that? Because I don't want to say there's a correct way, because there's not. But there's a right way in which you can use your resources and really break down the words to understand them biblically in the way that God inspired it to be written, instead of, you know, taking it out of context. But that was a lot of rambling. I need to say all that, but I hope you guys understand. Again, I'm going to make those videos. I haven't forgotten. Just, it's been a crazy week, and it's going to continue to be a crazy week. Next week, I'm also happy that I'm not doing Esther next week, just because my siblings and my son are out of school next week for spring break. I think spring break is out here in New Jersey, at least. They have it next week, so they're out for the whole week. So I'm going to take that week to probably post some videos on how I use Bible Hub and how I use my references and the different resources that I have. Also, like I said, by Monday, I'm hoping to have everything up. As far as like the information for Esther, and I don't know if you're gonna have everything up for the book club by then, because I know you're gonna be hosting the book club this month. Definitely we will be studying, not studying, but reading Cling. That will be in May. I definitely want to read that book because I feel like it ties into everything. Yes, Robin, I do. The date is I need to grab the calendar. Okay, I'll just pull up the calendar on my computer. That is going to be April 9th, if I'm not mistaken. No, sorry. April 11th. We're going to actually start with the live sessions for chapter 1 of Esther. Actually, let me look at chapter 1 real quick. How many verses? Yeah, so April 11th, the same time as I do now, 10 a.m.-ish, Eastern Standard Time, will be the first live session for Esther. But I believe either on April 7th or April 9th, I'm going to possibly go live so we can have a discussion, because I do want to encourage everyone, like I said, to read prior to the study. So I don't know, I'm gonna figure all that out and have it for you guys before April 2nd, just because this weekend is gonna be crazy. I'm not even gonna be home with my computer, so I'm gonna try to have some stuff done tonight and tomorrow so that I can post all the information up tomorrow in the Facebook group, as well as on the Facebook page and on the Instagram. But I think that's pretty much it. So once I'm done here, I'm going to work on the live session notes, and I'm also going to take a picture of the giveaway items and then post that. It's going to be similar to how I did it before, where I asked a question. The question that I'm probably going to ask is most likely what videos you guys would like to see, either in the group or on YouTube, just because I'm struggling with a lot of video ideas. And the video ideas I do have written down, if I could just grab my notebook real quick. So this is my little notebook that I use for the DOI group, as well as the Facebook and Instagram. So like, these are like video ideas I have. Yes, Kristen, it will be a 10-week study. I was going to do 2 chapters a week, but I realized that a lot of you guys are new to the type of studying that I do, and then some of you guys are new to actually studying the Bible, and I don't want you guys to feel overwhelmed, because I noticed that a lot of you guys are like trying to hurry up and catch up, and it's okay if you fall behind. I mean, the videos will always be up, and I'm also going to be posting all of the videos that I do onto the YouTube channel as well. So I don't want people to feel overwhelmed, because it definitely can be overwhelming. Like, I understand it totally can be overwhelming. So I definitely want this to be a relaxed type of thing. So I figured, of course, with the help of Anne, that 1 chapter a week would be great, and a lot of you guys voted for 1 chapter a week. So it will be a 10-week study. And it'll be in 2 parts. Like I said, it'll be the actual live discussion, and then we'll have a discussion prior to the actual live, so that I know that you guys are reading it for yourselves. I'm still trying to organize all that out, of course, but yes, 1 chapter a week. And I'm not sure when book club will start. Anne is working on that. So like I said, I'm going to try to personally have everything up for the Bible study by April 2nd, because I want you guys to read chapter 1 that week. But yes, like I was saying, these are all the video ideas that I have so far. Robin. Okay, so the elders. Sorry, let me just move this out the way. Okay, hold on. Let me mention this real quick. But yeah, so the question I'm going to ask for the giveaway quickly is going to be what kind of videos you want to see, because I have like a lot of things here. Like, I know that my first Bible study on YouTube, I said was going to be John, but I might do Psalms. I don't know. I'm going to figure that out. But I have a lot of videos here that I want to do, but it's kind of hard. So that's probably going to be the question I'm going to ask you guys, is like what kind of videos you would like to see, whether they're YouTube videos or videos specifically for the group. Just so I can, of course, continue to be more active and give more content that is helpful for you guys, because I do want all of the content that I give to be specifically helpful to you, to help you build and cultivate your own study time and devotional time. But Robin, okay, so the 10 elders, honestly, I don't know why the number 10. I do know for a fact that the number 10 is a number of completion. And let's go to 25:10. So the elders are needed. Okay, and we can definitely link up. Probably next week, me and you can have like a Zoom call and figure everything out, I guess. Yeah, next week will be good. Since my son is out of school, we could just have a video chat. I'll text you and message you and all that stuff, and we could talk about that. But for you, Robin, so the elders, if you read 25, 5-10, it says, the laws concerning the levirate marriage. I don't know. You guys know I'm terrible at these pronunciations, but, if you read it, I'll just read it basically. It says, verse 5, if brothers dwell together and one of them dies and has no son, the wife of the dead man shall not be married outside the family to a stranger. Her husband's brother shall go into her and take her as his wife and perform the duties of a husband's brother to her. And, of course, Elimelech and Boaz are not, I don't think they're blood brothers, but they're still close relatives, so they would still be brothers in a sense, if that makes sense. But moving on to 6, it says, the first son whom she bears shall succeed to the name of his dead brother, that his name may not be blotted out of Israel. So that's in a sense what happened with Boaz and Ruth. They Boaz took on Ruth as his wife, but he also took on everything that Naomi had that was Elimelech's and Elimelech's son. So he had the land that Elimelech had. He married Ruth because Ruth was the wife of, was it Mahlon, I think? That was Elimelech's son, of course. And the first son that Ruth had was now technically the son of Elimelech and Naomi's. So that is to verse 5 and 6. So verse 7, it says, if a man does not wish to take his brother wife, then his brother wife shall go up to the gate, which is the city gates. That's exactly what Boaz did. And to the elders say, my husband's brother refuses to perpetuate his brother's name in Israel, and he will not perform the duty of a husband's brother to me. This was more so what Boaz did with the Redeemer. He went to the elders, because I guess the elders would, in a sense, kind of be like a judge, or they're like the higher up officials, because they had a lot of laws and stuff, and a lot of people they had to go through to make everything ceremonial and correct, I guess, right with God, obviously, because they didn't have Jesus as a time. So, you know, they had to do things accordingly. I hope this is making sense, Robin. So let me know if this is making sense to you. So yeah. So this is basically what Boaz did. He spoke to the Redeemer in front of the elders, and it told him if he would redeem Naomi and Ruth, then so be it. If not, then he would. Obviously, the Redeemer didn't. So then verse 8 says, then the elders of the city shall call him and speak to him, and if he persists, saying, I do not wish, then his brother's wife shall go up to him in the presence of the elders and pull off his sandal of his foot and spit in his face. Now, this is kind of exactly like what Boaz did when the Redeemer basically took off his slipper or his sandal and gave it to Boaz. Now, I don't know if Boaz spit in his face. I mean, I don't know. It doesn't say. But in this law, it does say that the wife can spit in the Redeemer's face, which I think is brutal. So, you know, I don't know why the exact number of 10. Honestly, it doesn't specifically give you a number here. It doesn't say how many elders there were. I'm not sure if there were 10 elders or whatever. Yeah, it doesn't say. But I know after studying biblical numbers, 10 is the number of completion. And I'll show you guys here, because I actually shared this study on YouTube. I wrote that, sorry, you can't even see. 10 is also a spiritually perfect number. So it is a perfect number. I don't know why 10. I don't. I guess I would assume, since 10 is a number of perfection or completion, that it would signify that this was according to God. I don't know. I would assume that the number, I'm not sure why 10, but the elders were needed there to witness, because that was how they did it. It's kind of like you going to a judge and you being a persecutor and having to defend it. Kind of like that, to be a witness, basically, is what that is. But hopefully that helped explain your question, Robin. But yeah, you guys, we are done with Ruth. It is amazing, and we are gonna have a week off. Okay, for the biblical study of Numbers, I actually included that, if I'm not mistaken, in the live session notes for chapter 3. Yeah, I did for chapter 3. I put a link in there, but I'll also add the link on the session notes for today. Let me look it up real quick. And I'll tell you the website right now, because I actually had Googled it and found this site. And they actually give you biblical references to understand everything. The website is called BibleStudy.org. Yeah, BibleStudy.org. But I'm going to have the link again. And I'll actually post the link in the group so you can check it out. Because they do go through the numbers all the way to 44. Wait, they go all the way to 30, then they do 31, 33, 34, the number 40, the number 42, 44, they go over 50, 65, 70, 120, 153, 200, like they go over a few numbers, but they definitely give you the explanation of biblically the meaning for numbers 1 through 30. And at first I was hesitant to use this site, just because I never heard of it, but because they actually give biblical references with scriptures is why I use this site when it comes to numbers that I want to understand. So I'll just read what it says on here. It says the meaning of number 10. In the Bible, the number 10 is used 242 times. The designation 10th is used 79 times. 10 is also viewed as a complete and perfect number, as is 3, 7, and 12. It is made up of 4, the number of the physical creation, and 6, the number of man. So of course 4 plus 6 is 10 is what they're basically saying. And as such, it signifies testimony, law, responsibility, and the completeness of order, which does make sense because there are 10 commandments, right? And then there was also the 10 plagues, so it makes sense. It says in Genesis 1, we find the phrase God said 10 times, which is a testimony of his creative power. God gave the 10 commandments to man. 10 therefore represents man's responsibility to keep the commandments. A tithe is also 10th of your earnings and is a testimony of your faith in the Lord. The Passover lamb was selected on the 10th day of the first month. The 10th day of the 7th month is the holy day known as the Day of Atonement. The last great world ruling kingdom of man under Satan is symbolized prophetically by the 10 toes of Daniel 2 and the 10 horns of Revelation 13 and 17. And then it goes into like the appearance of the number 10. Then it gives you the quotes. The 10 Old Testament books most referred to in the New Testament, which there are 10, which is interesting. And I mean, it goes into a lot of things concerning the different numbers. So I actually love looking at this for the breakdown of numbers. So like I said, I'm going to actually link this in the group. And then I'm also going to put it in the live session notes. But I also hope that helped you, Robin, with where I got it from. Like I said, I'll link it. Because it actually gives you like breakdowns of everything. So that's what I use. But pretty much that's it. Do you guys have any other questions concerning the study, concerning anything that we're going to do in the group, or anything of that matter? Let me just open up to the Facebook page. Alright, well, if not, that is it for this last session of Ruth. I am so grateful for you guys joining me with this. And thank you so much, Anne, for helping me out with this, as well as Tasha and Leona. But, yeah, that's pretty much it for this. So I will see you guys for the next study. April 11th, I think is what I said. That's a Wednesday. It'll still be at 10 a.m., of course. Just because that's the time that I'm available to do the studies. But yeah, all the live session notes will be available for you guys. The videos will stay up. I will also be uploading them on to the YouTube channel in April. And that's pretty much it. So I will see you guys next time. Bye.